Hi there. Let's start a new story. The film starts with Enola Holmes running from the neighborhood police. As she gets to a rear entryway, she tends to the watchers and returns them to how she found herself mixed up with this present circumstance. Since her last experience, Enola has begun her own analyst organization. However, she has not had the option to get away from the shadow of her more renowned sibling Sherlock. Their mom, Eudoria, is additionally still on the run, while Tewkesbury is proceeding with his campaign for change in England, and despite the fact that Enola misses him, she says she lacks the capacity to deal with interruptions. Enola is visited by a little kid named Bessie who requests that she find her missing foster sister, Sarah Chapman. Bessie carries Enola to her home, close to a match production line where vagrant young ladies are being compelled to work. Enola meets May, a more seasoned, more grating young lady that isn't content with Bessie going to her for help over Sarah. Enola searches for hints around the young lady's room and goes over a paper that says, the 12th of March, trusting it to be a date. Bessie likewise illuminates Enola that Sarah had gotten into a contention with the production line's foreman, Mr. Crouch, who says Sarah was taking something from his office. Enola follows Bessie to the match processing plant to act like another specialist. She makes a redirection to slip into Crouch's office, where she sees the production line proprietors, Henry and Hilda Leone, in addition to their child William, in a gathering alongside Treasury Minister Lord Charles McIntyre and his secretary Mira Troy. Enola discovers a book with pages that Sarah tore and took with her. She additionally finds old matches that had red tips rather than the white ones the young ladies work with. Around evening time, Enola follows May to the Paragon Theatre, where May works a second occupation as an entertainer with a group of different ladies. At the point when Enola goes examining in the changing area, May faces her with a blade, yet she doesn't give Enola any data she needs about the things Sarah was doing in Crouch's office. Notwithstanding, she figures out how to pay off the stage director into talking, as Sarah likewise worked there and was engaged with a strange man. The director gives Enola a sonnet that Sarah got. As Enola strolls alone, she is trailed by a man with a stick. She strolls quicker until she runs into Sherlock being tossed out of a bar, as he is too inebriated to even consider remaining all alone and needs Enola's support to return home. Subsequent to taking Sherlock back to his home, Enola sees a board in his office over his most recent case that has him confused. In the first part of the day, Sherlock reasons that Enola was working in the match production line because of the buildup under her fingernails, and he becomes worried that she is at serious risk. Enola leaves and later runs into Tewkesbury in the recreation area, where it's reasonable they actually care deeply about each other. She then, at that point, surveys the sonnet once more and finds that a coded message uncovers an area in Whitechapel. Enola shows up at the location and tracks down indications of a battle. She then goes over May, kicking the bucket from a cut injury. In spite of her endeavors to help, May doesn't make it. With the rest of her personal effects, Enola finds printed music named The Truth of the Gods. She is then found by investigator Lestrade, who makes an appearance with Superintendent Grail, the man that was following Enola the prior night. Grail blames Enola for killing May, and when he keeps on scrutinizing her, she kicks him in the crotch and makes a run for it, prompting the initial scene where she's being pursued by cops. She escapes and winds up stowing away at Sherlock's place once more, soon after Lestrade had visited him. Enola questions him about his ongoing case, and Sherlock lets it out includes payoff and shakedown among government authorities. However, he can't derive the wellspring of these violations. At the point when she presents to him her discoveries, Sherlock chooses to address the Sarah case also and desires Enola not to allow her own sentiments to reach out. While both Holmes' kin search for signs, Sherlock goes to the condo where May was killed, and Enola finds hints in light of the names of blossoms. Poppy was referenced in the sonnet, and she tracks down the name, Sweet William. Enola figures out a ball is occurring where she might track down Sarah's sweetheart, so she goes covert. At the point when she attempts to address the Lyons family, she is dismissed for talking without a chaperone. Enola winds up gathering Mira, who is thoughtful to her and gives her a fan to intrigue different visitors. She runs into Tewkesbury and requests his assist in learning with moving. Upon additional review, She views that as "Sweet William," alludes to, as a matter of fact, William Lyon. She hits the dance floor with him to give and have more data a chance Sarah, yet William tells her kin are watching them. Simultaneously, Tewksbury hits the dance floor with another young lady Enola met named Cicely. In the interim, Sherlock derives that his hints have driven him to translate a message, "Good to meet you, Sherlock Holmes," as well as finding a name from the record numbers he accumulated, Moriarty. Enola is captured at the ball before everybody and took in to be interrogated by Grail. He tells her not to get involved any further for Sarah's situation, driving Enola to acknowledge he is working for somebody greater. Sherlock goes to rescue Enola, yet Grail endeavors to hold her on his alleged proof. Sherlock hits back with his own discoveries from the crime location, calculating that one of the watchmen at the station could have been engaged with May's homicide and apparently calculating Grail's own contribution. Sherlock must choose the option to go to Euphoria and Edith for help, as Enola is being accompanied to a ladies' jail. The women stage a breakout and take Enola with them. On the Brave, the women use smoke bombs to get the seeking after watches off their tails. Enola converses with Euphoria about the case, having discovered that the match young ladies at the manufacturing plant were passing on based on what is purportedly typhus. Grail seeks after and makes the women crash their carriage. He endeavors to have every one of the three captured, however they kick the watchmen's butts and move away once more. Enola then mournfully heads out in different directions from Euphoria again so she might finish her main goal. Enola gets back to Bessie and finds close by window boxes containing hints of red and white matchstick tips. She calculates that the white tips contain phosphorus, which is the genuine reason for death for the young ladies at the processing plant. Enola goes to Tewksbury for help, however needs to stow away when Cicely appears, as she was at that point working with Tewksbury looking into it. Enola gradually understands that Cicely is truly Sarah and that William was her mysterious sweetheart. Before they head out to keep on addressing the case, Enola and Tewksbury concede their adoration for each other. Enola and Tewksbury go to the industrial facility, where Enola experiences Sherlock. He tells her that their two cases are associated, and he has tracked down motivation to defend herself in May's homicide. They track down William dead in a seat, having been killed too. Enola finds hints proposing Lord McIntyre had been contriving with William's dad, setting aside cash by supplanting the coordinate tips with the modest phosphorus that has been killing the young ladies. Utilizing additional pieces of information from the printed music, the kin and Tewksbury figure that they are being directed to the Paragon Theatre. The legends meet Sarah at the theater, where Enola needs to let the cat out of the bag of William's demise to her. Sarah has a rundown of the young ladies who were killed by the phosphorus to ensure they get equity. They are found by Grail and his hooligans, with Grail holding Bessie with a blade to her throat. Bessie nibbles his hand and runs free, prompting a battle between the legends and miscreants. Sherlock and Tewksbury battle the hooligans while Enola is pursued by Grail. In the battle, Enola utilizes a snare to catch Grail by the crotch and pull him vertical, making him crush his head and break his neck against a wooden bar before he tumbles down dead. McIntyre and his own hooligans appear with Lestrade, and he arranges for Sarah to be captured. Enola and Sherlock then, at that point, accumulate all their data and presume that the driving force behind everything was Mira, otherwise known as Moriarty. Mira Troy is a rearranged word. She endeavored to coerce McIntyre and the Lions, however things got confounded when William took their agreement, and she employed Grail to assist with covering her tracks, which prompted May and William winding up dead for them getting excessively near uncovering them. Lestrade captures Moriarty, however McIntyre consumes the rundown of young ladies' names to take care of himself. Enola gets back with Bessie and Sarah to the manufacturing plant, where they uncover the young ladies' demises and lead a rebel against Crouch and different bosses. The young ladies all leave in fight, which Euphoria and Edith watch and realize that Enola is capable. Sherlock visits Enola and gives her a paper saying that Tewksbury has assisted Gather with enough proving to have McIntyre captured. While Sherlock offers her an organization, Enola declines yet concurs they ought to meet each Thursday at 4. As she leaves, Sherlock is met by Edith, who gives him a paper that shows that Moriarty has gotten away from guardianship and is totally free. Enola then, at that point, goes out on the town with Tewksbury. A man makes an appearance to Sherlock's home to answer a promotion for a flatmate, Enola's thought. Regardless of some aversion, Sherlock welcomes the man in. At the point when asked his name, the man answers, Dr. John Watson. Thank you for watching the entire story.